gotta think they're maybe racist just because I'm human, they don't want my help. It seems it doesn't really matter if your superpowers fire to the melt.
Oh, this is just that one robot that joins now?
I guess so. I don't know. I've been doing all my recording on podcasts via Zoom links and OSIN audio, so because Audacity is spying on me.
Wait, how does Audacity spy on you?
Oh, there was this big thing that came out where it was revealed Audacity was basically listening in on people.
Oh.
I vaguely remember that story.
I don't remember, and I pretty much not even believe, anything that has a microphone is basically always on. So
there's been a bunch of data collection changes, and now it's possible spyware. So I removed it, and the people at Gatecrashers told me to just start using Ocean Audio or something. So I've been using that.
Now I will look that up.
OCEN. Oh yeah, I should watch Squid Game, shouldn't I?
Also, haven't done that.
I have not seen Squid Game.
I started watching. My wife was like, "Oh, I want to watch this too," and then I was like, "Okay, I'll wait." And then that was 2 months ago. Yeah. So
my actual big Netflix watch of the new year has been I finished all of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh wow!
Well, I have yet to do any of the shows yet, but I finished Prodigy.
Prodigy! Oh no, Prodigy's the other cartoon, right?
Yeah, not Lower Decks.
Okay, I loved Lower Decks. I have not watched Prodigy. I caught up. I watched almost 2 full seasons of Discovery. And there's 1 episode left of the 4th season.
Prodigy and Lower Decks are the only ones and John, what was the other one, Tyler?
He said he watched Next Gen.
Okay. Yeah, Next Gen, I thought he was about to say something else.
From 1988. Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, at some point I'm going to watch Picard. I've heard the newest season is not bad. I heard the first season's horrible.
Yeah, it's real funny, right? So I'm like someone who is just I like The Mandalorian enough, and I like The Last Jedi, but just so much of Star Wars discourse has just been it's exhausting, and I'm you know what? I'm gonna give Star Trek a try.
That's where I'm at.
And I feel the second I started watching Star Trek, I just was Discovery sucks, Picard sucks. And I'm oh god, it's just everywhere. It's
it's just it's the internet plus assholes.
You can't just not like a thing. Everything's just gotta be it's either the best thing ever or it's the worst thing ever.
Fandoms are cancer. That's what we've learned.
I'm watching Deep Space Nine right now, and I'm almost done with season 1, and it's a pretty cool show, and I like how
that got so much shit when it first came out.
Is Deep Space Nine with Janeway, or is that Voyager?
That's Voyager. Deep Space Nine is they're on a space station.
Okay.
And I like how centralized it is, and I feel like Quark is a very problematic fave. I don't really. It's I don't know how this is problematic, but I feel like it's problematic in some way.
Well, the Klingons originated in a very problematic way.
No, the Ferengi.
Oh, the Ferengi. Oh, the Ferengi are so anti-Semitic.
But I love Quark. I love that he runs this dive on the space station. I like his relationship with Odo and how they're always just kind of going back and forth. I think in a lot of season 1, a lot of the problems center around Quark in some way. But I
because he's literally he is this shady side dealing, making a quick buck that gets she causes shit to happen.
And it's also a character type that you don't see in the Next Generation, because it's a character like him wouldn't exist on the Enterprise, right?
No, he would be a one-off, maybe recurring, shows up on the ship or shows up in some other capacity.
So yeah, and I think the premise of Deep Space Nine being this shit, or this colony, space colony that's centered in between the Bajorans and the Cardassians, and this wormhole that's opening up, and I feel the wormhole is just basically well, this is how we have the Brave New World kind of stuff that's centralized to Star Trek, but Deep Space Nine is more about how do we keep everyone from not fighting with each other, instead of the exploration of what Next Gen. And I like that Deep Space Nine is trying to do its own thing,
Yeah.
So I do want to. Sorry, really quick, because you guys are mentioning these characters. I do want to point out there is an episode of Prodigy, where the kid discovers the Kobayashi Maru, and he gets like a bunch of like former like Trek characters that everyone knows to come back. So he gets Odo, Scotty, Uhura, Spock, and Crusher. And they got the archive audio of everybody with the exception of Crusher. She came back and actually voiced the character for the first time in like 20 years.
Yeah. You know, and here's the other thing about Deep Space Nine that I kind of really like about it is, like, one of my favorite episodes of the later of Next Gen, and it's kind of a shame that it's like a last episode, like one of the last episodes of Next Gen is Lower Decks, and in that, like, I like that it's a show that's based around Starfleet with, like, not necessarily like the fuck up, but like the people who are not like
they're the people we never see what they're doing, but they keep the ship running.
But they're not, you know, it's like Barclay, right? Like, I love the Barclay episodes because it's like, he's like a guy who's not as charismatic as Crusher. He's not as, like, smart as Data. He's, like, like, the main cast of the Next Gen are all, like, you know, the masters of their field. And I love that Lorax and the Barclay episodes are like, oh yeah, there's also just, like, kind of like a lot of just random people on it. Like, I'm honestly, like, watching Next Gen and watching, like, getting, like, a basis of, like, the history of, like, modern Star Trek, just so I could watch Lower Decks. Because, like, Lower Decks, like, seems more like a pace of a show that I'd be, like, really into.
Lower Decks is so good. You definitely don't need to have watched other stuff, but it helps get the joke. But it is definitely, like, it is joking about, like, all of the stuff, like, oh, red shirts, like, on a mission, or, and it does kind of do a really good job of, like, addressing, like, yeah, how the hell does any of this shit, like, actually happen, like, on the ship? Like, we just see, like, 5 characters every episode, and, like, they're the heads of each of their departments, but what the fuck does their department do?
It kind of makes fun of Star Trek, like, in a loving way.
Oh, it's like fans who know that, like have asked the question, like, well, how does this happen? Like, who does the maintenance here? Like, when something doesn't work, like, how do replicators work? Like, how do you get these positions? Like, you don't just come into Starfleet and you're a captain or you're like a commander. Like, you come in as like a base level ensign, and like if it's based on real military, like you would start off with a shitty job.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, my dive into Star Trek has been pretty fun so far.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think, like, Deep Space Nine, like, Discovery got a lot of the same shit. Like, where especially those first 2 seasons are so different. They're so actiony. And then, like, season 3 and 4 have been, again, in a different way, have, like, genre shifted again and are kind of more like Deep Space Nine, like, tonally and, like, storytelling wise. Because, like, it jumps a lot. Although it is interesting that you brought up the Ferengi, because in one of their episodes, like, they're showing what do you call it, the Federation, and the Ferengi are part of it, and I was like, oh, like, interesting that, like, this jump in time we're showing they moved up, like, really high into the Federation as, like, a major like species.
Deep Space Nine is Jerry Ryan is in it, right?
Yeah, that's 6 of 9, isn't it?
6
or
or
is she
7?
Voyager?
I think it's Voyager.
Yeah,
Voyager.
6 of 7. 6 of 9, I just get stuck in my head because it's a goddamn, like, joke from a show, because it's a porn thing.
Well,
So
yeah, it's the sex number.
Yes.
So I should point out, Prodigy takes place 5 years after Voyager.
Yeah, because what's her name is in it, right?
Janeway's in it, yeah.
Yeah, she's a crazy person, but she's a good actor.
She basically is the hologram advisor on the ship.
Oh, that's a good way to deal with her.
That's how she's on it. She's a hologram of the ship that the kids steal because they're trying to escape their horrible lifestyle, and they all become like a team.
So it's like the Runaways, but Star Trek?
Yeah, also the girl who voiced Jinx in Arcane is the lead female character.
That is another show I have to watch.
So fucking good.
I have so many lists of shows, and all my students are like, oh, you gotta watch this. I'm like, okay, I will put it on my
if you need help keeping track of them, I use the app Serialize. No, we're not sponsored by them. I'm just shouting them out. We use Serialize to track all my shows. It's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Well, that's what what I do is I just watch shows like, back.
Did anyone see The Boys? Diabolical?
No, I haven't watched any episodes of The Boys because I have no time.
Well,
I also just kind of don't care about The Boys.
Okay. I mean, I love the show. This is like the animated anthology series. One of them is set in the world of the comics where Simon Pegg voices Huey. One of them is based off Looney Tunes cartoons. One of them is based off French cartoons. One of them is literally Rick and Morty, etc. I think it's funny. I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Well, like I liked Invincible, so if it's anything like that,
They're all delightfully fucked up,
well, that's awesome.
with the
I've been
exception of
like,
one sad. But
like to kind of go with TV, like the only show, like comic show that I've really been following is Superman and Lois, which is just fucking amazing.
I have yet to. I literally put a halt on DC TV post Crisis. I need to go back at some point.
That's the only show that like I have enjoyed. I have not watched the second season of Stargirl, but Superman and Lois is phenomenal.
I can actually talk about a DC TV thing. How great is Peacemaker?
I haven't gotten to watch it because
It's good.
I've
Like,
heard
it's real
really,
good.
really
It's
good.
real good.
yeah, like it's pretty good, and I think like it's I don't know like when it happened, but it's like, man, DC kind of really did turn it around. It's
You know what? You know what's even better? I don't know how it happened, but I sat there and I'm like, man, John Cena's a really good actor, and I'm shocked I'm saying that sentence.
Oh, I haven't like when I saw Trainwrecked, he was great in that movie.
Have you
which
seen
is like
Blockers?
No, because that looked like a bad movie.
He's actually really funny in that movie.
Yeah,
And in Bumblebee, he's good.
Yeah,
I've not seen Bumblebee.
he's good in Bumblebee, but it's like a lot of his roles have been like
Well,
either like serious military guy or like buffoon. And
so he's cheaper Mark Wahlberg. That's what he was.
yeah, and I think like sometimes like I think he gets like a little bit too like there's like a few times in Peacemaker that I think it's just kind of like like the joke goes on for like a little bit too long.
I think one of the things is like he seems to really enjoy like he did all his interviews in full costume.
Oh,
Like
gee, yeah, like he like, and he's like also just like a weird savant, right? It's like if he gets like if he gets like an idea in his head about like something he wants to learn, he'll learn it. Like
yeah, doesn't he speak Chinese?
He speaks like full Chinese. He learned to play the piano for a scene in The Peacemaker.
Yeah, and he's actually really, really good.
Man, because like my wife it's like the only wrestling thing she watches is like the Diva shows and like the Bella Twins. So I watched a bunch of that with her, and he's like
a weirdo in that show.
He's a weird OCD like psychopath, but like is good at what he does because he's like, oh, I want to have fancy dinners every Friday where everybody came to his house like in like cocktail dresses and like 3-piece like tuxedo, like a tuxedo.
Did you happen to hear a movie that like he was just so recently announced for is Coyote versus Acme?
Yeah, James Gunn's involved in that.
Well, that's what you're saying. Like DC's in, but it's like, well, I think it's also James Gunn is a big part of that equation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, James Gunn's really doing like,
and it's just these two things.
Well, I think James Gunn, like, I think it's like very evident that James Gunn really likes John Cena, like based off of like him being in the Suicide Squad and having Peacemaker be the first spin-off
and then
show
Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah,
he's in.
Yeah.
Like, I will not be surprised if John Cena cameos in Guardians 3.
Yeah, well, I think if he's allowed to. I wonder how his contract looks with DC. It can't be too much because he's such a D-list character. But I think like he just was like he kind of got like a free like blank check and just told do whatever you want because they were trying to screw over Disney Marvel, and then Marvel realized they fucked up.
It'd be like really funny having John Cena as like Hyperion or something.
What would be see? I want Henry Cavill to be cast as Hyperion, and I will never back down from that. Who would be a really funny comedy casting for Cena? See, if they didn't already do John Walker, he would be perfect.
Yeah.
But that's basically Peacemaker. But like, oh man, that would be funny. Oh man, I can't even think of like a character that would be like really dumb. Unless he wants to go like real, if he wants to actually be like a real bad guy, like have him be Nuke.
Wait, I have an idea. So you know how? Okay, you'd have to do this for Thor, I think. But you know how they do like the Oh wait, no, this is Thor, not Guardians. So yeah, never mind. I was gonna say if he did like Surtur, but like actor Surtur, they did that scene again in Thor 4.
Oh,
But that's not. But that's not gonna be. That's not James Gunn. That's Taika.
I'm trying to even think, especially in like a space movie. Like, I'm sure that like he would be really funny in like a full costume, like to be like. Didn't one of Galactus's guys, was he like a werewolfy kind of dude?
Oh, I have no idea.
Maybe I know that the guy who plays Myrn. I think it's Myrn. Yeah, Myrn in that show.
You know who would be funny as Gladiator? Just like with a giant purple mohawk or blue mohawk, whatever they did, and he just has to be, and it's basically Superman, but it's all about his confidence. I actually think he'd be pretty good at that. It would
I will not be surprised if Cena makes a cameo, an uncredited cameo of some kind.
Yeah, the only thing he can't be is like Adam Warlock, which is obviously where that third movie is going. Especially since he's in the game, like there's no way that he's not in that movie. Oh, I was trying to think. I can't. What is the name? I just popped in my head. Aren't they making another CW show like the Bat Family?
Gotham Knights.
Oh,
That's not based off the game.
No. I think the idea from what I read was like Damien is putting together a team of like villains.
No, hold on. It's not even that. It's oh god, give me a second.
It's like they just came out with this.
Oh,
like
it's a new son. It's not Damien, it's a brand new son.
Okay. So Batman has a different kid.
So it's his rebellious adopted son forges an alliance with the children of it's his rebellious after Bruce Wayne's murder, his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for killing the Caped Crusader.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's his adopted son, that could be Jason.
Unless this is after Jason.
Like, if it's villains, like, it kind of makes sense to be Jason.
I don't know. I think we're at a point now where we just need to stop.
What's the thing? It's like, there are good shows they're doing.
They should stop everything but those two shows. Let's put it that
Superman
way.
and Lois has done, like, some crazy-ass shit. Like, its first season story involved... I'm guessing you guys don't care if I spoil, like...
I know that it's not Zod, it's...
No, it's Morgan Edge.
Oh, yeah, that I knew.
Yeah, but how much of that season do you care about me spoiling?
I mean, I'm going to watch it, so I would care a little bit.
Okay, there are some, like, real 90s ass character. There's, like, a 90s character that they reinterpret for the show in a very fun way for season 1. And in season 2, they are doing, they just kind of combined their A and B plot stories, which the B plot with Lois has involved her sister being in a cult, which feels like they're kind of addressing the shit with Smallville.
Really?
Yes. And
Tom Welling and Rosenbaum making an animated sequel to that show?
They're making an animated show, but I don't know if it's a
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a Smallville show.
I heard it was Smallville.
Oh.
But they did. You guys are in trouble.
Whenever I have like no time for anything.
Have you done an episode since? No, right?
1.
Okay. So yeah. So
oh yeah, you're right. They are. Yeah. But they did get Channing Tatum's ex-wife to come back as Lucy for the new Superman and Lois.
Oh, that's right. She was in
season 1 of Supergirl.
That's right.
So the plot is basically after the fallout of season 1 of Supergirl, she spiraled out of control and joined a cult.
That sounds so. Wait, so they basically took the character from Smallville and then made her into a real character on
the character show? Oh yes, kind of, yeah. Like they're addressing the cult angle. And like it has to do with there's like a podcast that the cult leader is like breaking, saying that Lois's reporting was bullshit and not real. But it's like it is very odd, like seeing this show like have such a good production value.
Well, I know that Amy Jo Johnson, original Pink Ranger, directed an episode, and then more recently, Simmons from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. directed an episode.
Oh. It's really good, and like the stuff they are doing, especially with Lois and Lana over the 2 seasons, has been so good. especially this season with Lana's become like the kind of like another sort of lead. She's like a kind of C plot lead of the
Okay.
story, kind of like what's happening in the town. Um,
I've been watching Vox Machina, so I have not had any other time because I've been like trying to get through some shows on Amazon that I missed, and Vox Machina was one of them, even though I've never seen Critical Role.
oh, see, I don't watch Critical Role, but I watch like a bunch of those other D&D shows. Like I watched Dimension 20.
I'm surprised you don't watch Critical Role. I feel like that'd be a you kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like it's not comedy forward, and that's probably why I haven't jumped into it.
It is comedy forward. It just also balances that with humor. Like the animated show at least is very comedic at moments.
Okay, because the current season Dimension 20 is Starstruck Odyssey, which is based on the Dungeon Master's mom's comic book that she wrote or has been writing since the 70s.
I have to say that it is definitely a lot like I wouldn't say it's like Invincible, but it's definitely got that same kind of like vibe to it.
Oh. See, I know like a couple there's like crossover between the two shows. And like a bunch of those guys, like people appear on like Actually and stuff like that.
Well, they're all famous voice actors, so
Yeah. But yeah, like their new show, it's like a sci-fi, it's like that retro futuristic. And yeah, the DM's mom wrote, she's been writing the comics since the 70s. And so it's like they are using that world to play in. So it's
that's
like
cool.
their ship is a giant hot dog. Because like it's like hard, like everything has like it's like a very weird like World War. It's like Mars Attacks-y kind of like look.
Okay.
Have you played? Oh man, what was the name of that game? It came out a couple of years ago.
Destroy All Humans?
No, it was like a action RPG. Oh man, it's on Game Pass. I have to like look this up. It is very similar. It's kind of like almost like it's not Fallout's kind of 50s. This is more like 60s future.
The
Okay.
Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yeah. It's
Oh,
like
I've heard
that.
that.
It's very similar to that aesthetic. So it's not like 50s retro future. It's like 60s retro
Okay.
future.
Yeah, I beat that game like late last year. It's like pretty okay.
I think I beat it twice. I think I did the good ending and the bad ending. I just like never. I'm trying to remember. I think I like never used guns in the game, if I remember correctly. I just like melee people to death. I just like a good like a that game just had like some good RPG elements that other stuff like that kind of sci-fi doesn't do.
Yeah. I've
Makes
been
sense.
I have been going nonstop on the Life is Strange, at least the first two games, or at least the first game and the 3-episode prequel to it. And yeah, that game's fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about them because they're like,
They're narrative games.
yeah, they're narrative games. They're like visual novels, basically, but are
Pretty
like
much, yeah.
choose your own adventure, like a Telltale game.
Well, yeah, they actually that's the best comparison. They're a lot like Telltale. So the remaster just came out for the first game, and it's
Is
like
there
a little
like
bit prequel.
is there a name for that genre of game? I guess
Narrative adventure,
okay.
from what I've read. That's been the name of it.
Yeah, I have not. I've only played one. I played the Batman one.
But yeah, next I'm gonna play Bioshock Infinite for the first time.
Oh wow!
Wolf.
And they're
Oh,
making it. They're making a
Uh-oh.
TV show of that too. I think.
That game has not aged particularly well.
Well,
oh,
because all of those games are like subtle, like.
racist.
Well, they're supposed to be like the world you're in is like a Randian like the character who's building everything is definitely a Randian-esque leader who's trying to build a Randian like a Ayn Rand like paradise, and I think people don't really understand like the subtlety.
It's not particularly just that. It's also like there's a sign
I haven't
involving
played-
the worker class.
I haven't
that
played
has not aged
Infinite.
well,
I played the
but
first one, so
sure.
Yeah, same with me.
I'm basically talking about Infinite. You'll
Okay.
see it when you play it, but there is particularly a storyline involving the worker class that has not aged particularly well.
oof.
Ooh, oofa.
But hey,
my
I've been playing Pokemon Arceus. I'm almost I'm like trying to finish up my Pokedex right now before I go and fight God, but
Yeah, I have the game. I've barely played. I
it's
play it once a week, and then at night I play like an hour of Elden Ring.
I have not played it. I don't think I'll play it. I have not played any from Soft games.
This is the first one I've played in a long time. But Pokemon Arceus is cool. I like the lore that it kind of builds in the world.
Uh-huh.
Because like Pokemon are the ones who have the ability to shrink. It's not like they're being digitized. It's like part of their existence.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still funny because based on everything that they've previously established, humans are Pokemon. So that means in that world, humans should be able to go into a Pokeball.
Well, humans have the ability to become Pokemon. Like, you know, they can become like a Yan mask, or like their spirits can become Pokemon.
Yeah, but aren't all entities born from Arceus?
Yes.
And it is a Pokemon?
Well, there are human-esque categorized Pokemon, but I don't want to get too much into the Rule 34 dark web of Pokemon lore, unless you guys want to.
The Mr. Mime?
I mean, there
And Ash's mom?
something about Vaporeon, something perfect gene.
Oh God damn it!
See, I'm trying to think. I've been like reading a lot, finishing books. Well, I did an audiobook recently. I read I don't even know how you say. I listened to The Devil's Candy, which is like a book on about a making of Bonfire of the Vanities, which is like one of the biggest Hollywood bombs of all time.
What's the movie called?
Bonfire of the Vanities. It's based off of a book. It's the movie starring Tom Hanks, Bruce Willis,
Never heard of it.
Morgan Freeman. It came out like 91. It was a massive, massive bomb. It was like a $50 million movie that made like 8. It was like it was a De Palma movie, and he gave like a reporter like no holds barred access behind the scenes. So if you really like Hollywood stuff, it gives you a really good
Send that link to that book. I'll put it in my Goodreads.
Yeah, it really gives you a really good because the phrase "devil's candy" comes from what do you call it? Goober, that was the producer with what's his name for Batman?
John Peters.
Yeah, Goober and Peters. Yeah.
Oh, you mean
so
John
it's that
Peters?
Goober was the producer, and he's the devil's candy was his description of the female lead, who's like the main character who he's having an affair with. And he's like, she needs to be like the devil's candy, like somebody a man would throw his whole life away for.
That's because John Peters is a literal insane human being.
Oh, yes, but this is not Peter saying it, it's Goober saying it, and they were partners. So these guys got along.
Well, he sounds like a real goober.
Oh, when you listen, there's a whole part where she's talking about how the most uncomfortable thing in the book is like 5 of them talking about should they hire it's Hanks, Goober, casting director, and De Palma after watching Uma Thurman, who's 19 at the time, audition if they should hire her or Melanie Griffith, and describing the difference in their looks as Griffith's 30 and just had a baby, and Uma Thurman's 19, and it is as horrible as you could think.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's like remember, that's not necessarily a new thing. Like, remember when like Alicia Silverstone was like casted for Batman and Robin, and they art
got
director
shitty because she got pregnant and she
wasn't. Nope, she wasn't even pregnant. She just had like some extra weight, and like they like photoshopped or like whatever the equivalent of 1990s like photoshopped like images of her like around like the art director, and Joel Schumacher had that person like apologize to the cast and crew about it, and people were like writing like fucking shitty stuff about her like being a little heavy. And she wasn't like I you know, it's like I say that shit, but it's like she absolutely like was not like heavy in any
the person was being shitty because she like the bat suit didn't fit her great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I've been reading all the X-Men stuff. It's been really fun. Oh, did you guys ever read? Because basically Hickman's run is over now because Inferno came out. and finished? Did you guys?
I have not caught up.
Oh my god, Inferno! What they did is so good.
I'm not even joking. The last X-Men thing I read, because I've been waiting for like stuff to finish up, has been Hotspot. I'm terrible with keeping up with runs.
Oh man, they did like it's basically his. He is now off of the books. I don't remember if he's going to do some other books, but they are continuing with what he's built. But yeah, Inferno was his last
He's doing
thing.
a Moon Knight story.
Yes. But yeah, Inferno was so good.
I'm looking to see what he's doing right now.
Yeah, because they introduced a couple new books. There's Secret X-Men, which is very fun. It's kind of New Mutants adjacent because it's Sunfire, Cannonball, Marrow, Armor, Forge, Big Guy. It's all the people who did not make the X-Men team that they just made are put on a team.
Really?
And they are doing missions without knowing it for Xavier's daughter, the what's her name that he had with Elandra. So she's one of the bird people.
So the last comics I read Spider's Shadow by Zdarsky. It's that what if story where what if Peter kept the black suit?
Oh,
Dope horror story. Really good horror story.
yeah, they've done a couple people have done that in the past. It's interesting.
And I read basically the guy who made Samurai Jack, Primal, and Dexter's Lab did a Cage comic book.
That book was made and put on the shelf for like a lot of years, and then recently just like released.
Oh, that comic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm reading that. And then now that I'm caught up with the series, I've been reading it monthly by month. I've read Saga. Now that that's back.
Yeah, that's something I think when it's done, I will actually read it.
Well, they're on the last half, so
Yeah, I've
I
just
watched-
been.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I've just been like a weird like reading a ton of like manga and manhwa in the last like couple months. So, a couple of good things, but yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I've been reading is Spy Family. I have not had time to read any because I've been like trying to get stuff done, and
yeah. In terms of books, I'm reading The House of Hades.
it's just like so much easier for me to just watch stuff while I'm like working.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't have that ability. So yeah, that's why like I rip through podcasts and like reading manga is very easy.
Oh, Lou, I'm finally watching or listening to Best Movies Never Made.
Oh, it's a really good podcast.
I'm on the Super Mario Brothers.
Okay, I think that's like they did that one when Sonic was coming out.
Yeah,
Because the
and I'm
one
mad
guy
because
was a writer for Sonic.
two of them were.
I just wish that podcasts would just like an episode would just be the whole thing. Like they wouldn't do it in parts.
It's because it's so long. It's like 9 hours. So it's like each episode is like 2 hours because that's how many Mario movies were attempted to be made.
Are we talking about the same show? Because I feel like each episode is like an hour long.
It is an hour long. It is an hour long, but like Lou said, there are so many Mario movies that were attempted to be made.
Sure,
Yeah, I think at different points that's like earlier on in the show, and that like they have now like if the episode's going long, they tend unless it's like it is very long, then they break it up. But I don't know. I don't mind an episode over an hour, but
I will say though, there was one Mario script that they had written that never got made that I was like, oh, this would have been a good movie.
yeah,
Like it would have been fun. I still like the movie we got. I'm one of the few that do, but
well, I do think it's fun, like knowing some of those things. Like in the new Spider-Man movie, they make reference to a bit from the James Cameron Spider-Man.
that script is wild.
Because she makes the joke. It's like because they're reading a newspaper. It's like, oh, is Spider-Man's girlfriend like seduced by him? It's like, oh, what are you using your spider pheromones?
Yeah, that script is wild.
Yeah, that's the one where they have sex on top of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, and Electro like tries to have sex with people, but he can't because he keeps killing them.
Oh man. Yeah, I think when they talk about that one, it's like so much of that movie made its way into the other movies in different fashions.
in his own movies. I also watched the Cuphead show.
You said it was bad, right?
I don't think it's bad per se. I think it's very well animated and fairly well voice acted. It's just like, and like I know that there's like people complaining that it doesn't have lore shit, and like I don't even really care about that. It's just so weird for a game that has so many cool looking characters. Like none of them show up in the show, and I don't know if that was like a directive for, by Microsoft or the studio that made Cuphead or the
Wait.
animation department, but like,
Microsoft owns that game?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it was I thought they were still independent.
well, the Cuphead is a first-party Microsoft game
Oh.
that
Huh.
Microsoft allows to also have it be on the Switch.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, it's like you have all these really cool boss fights and stuff, and none of them like show up in the book or in the show. Like, they have 2 episodes centered around a carnival, and the clown boss never shows up, and it's just very odd. They have like a lot of original. Oh, like the only boss characters that do show up in the show is like they have like the
frog.
the two frogs, the boxing frogs, and the Root Gang. And it's just like it's a situational comedy, so each episode is like a one and done, which is like fine. But like I just feel like the episodes that they ended up choosing, like there's like a episode where a baby bottle is like left on the doorstep, and Cuphead and Mugman have to take care of the baby, and it's just like it's essentially just like a riff on the Roger Rabbit, Baby Huey stuff from like the Roger Rabbit cartoons, essentially. But it's like not very fun. It's kind of not what I want to see out of a Cuphead show. Like, it's just it's good for what it is, but it's not necessarily what I was looking for a Cuphead show.
That's fair. Did you see the video they did of the 2 voice actors playing Cuphead?
No,
It's just them getting angrier in the voices of the characters.
that's pretty good. I mean, like it's pretty well acted. And all the voice actors that they got for it, like I think the best episode is like the one with one of the bosses is with King Dice, and it's like King Dice, like, who runs this game show and steals people's souls for the devil, and he's like trying to get Cuphead's soul for the devil, and it's like really good. And the devil's voiced by Wayne Brady, and he's really good. And there's like a really good like animated sequence where like the devil's holding King Dice up in the air, and it's like this kind of like wraparound shot. And they do some like kind of like really funny like old homages to like older rubber hosed animated shows. Like they do there's like that one scene from Popeye where he's like walking into a cave, and like the way that the animations like of Popeye walking into the cave is layered differently in the background of like what's currently moving. They do that in the show, and that's really neat too. But yeah, I just like I don't think it's like particularly like all that funny, and it's and I just kind of like wish that there was just a little bit more behind it. But yeah, like I'm trying to like think of like yeah, like mostly Star Trek's been taking up most of my time. I've not had Crunchyroll, so I had like nothing on the animes. But
we haven't talked about
we
that.
haven't talked about that.
This will be the last thing I talked about for TV. I've been addicted to Pluto TV because they have a Iron Chef channel now, and I've been watching Iron Chef non-stop.
Well, do you know what Pluto TV also has?
They have like a wrestling. They have
They
multiple
just
wrestling
added.
channels.
They just added a G4 channel.
Oh yeah, I've been watching some of the old or some of the new G4 stuff. And it's like good. It's like not bad.
Wait, Iron
like,
Chef, doesn't Mark Dacascos hosted one of those at some point?
The American one. He
Okay.
doesn't host. He's the chairman.
yeah,
It's a whole bit.
The one I'm watching is specifically the Japanese Iron Chef, where it's like
Okay, so in the canon of Iron Chef, Mark Dacascos is the nephew of the chairman from the Japanese version.
And the Japanese show is just like so fun. Like there's I never liked the Iron Chef America because like Iron Chef Japan just had like such like a
flavor.
It's not even just the flavor; it's like the pageantry of it all, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Like they care more about it. It's less. It's very Japanese, and the American one is very much an American cooking show.
But it's like I don't like it's all like dubbed, right? and it's like I don't know a whole much about like Ken Kenichi or Masayuki Sakai like in much of their real life, but like I care so much about their characters on this show in a way that like I could not give you the biggest fuck about Bobby Flay or
No one
Pat
can.
Cora
Bobby Flay
or
sucks. So.
like
No, Bobby
yeah.
Flay is an asshole.
And so it's like to me it's like Iron Chef America, it's like they like made into like kind of like a big joke, and Iron Chef Japan is not a joke. Like it is serious as fuck. Like and I like it. And like and to me like Iron Chef America was just like, you know, Mark DaCosta like being this kind of big clown, and he does the big hand
this is
motion.
a weird tangent, but I think of anything Chopped is kind of a better American version of.
I love Chopped.
but it's closer to Iron Chef Japan than Iron Chef America, because it's like the fact that you have like chefs who like winning that money will actually change their life means that they're actually like care like so fucking much.
Yeah.
Which I can tell you very strangely, I watched an episode, I was like, man, this chef looks familiar. And then they do his backstory, and I'm like, holy shit, I went to high school with him. We sat at lunch together. I sent him a Facebook move. I was like, holy shit, I just saw you on Chef. That is amazing.
Yeah, Chopped is like an all-timer. But
See, for me, my favorite is Forged in Fire. Have you guys seen that show?
Oh, is that the weapons making show, like where they're blacksmithing?
Yeah. It's that, but blacksmith.
Yeah, the only other one which everybody watches is like the Great British Baking Show. Is
so good.
It's so good. It is, and you watch it and you're like, oh, this is why American like cooking shows suck, because like there's always like the dick guy in the Great British Baking Show is still nicer than the nicest person in American like show.
Yeah.
You just really want a handshake. You want the Paul Hollywood handshake. But you brought up before, we haven't Crunchyroll basically bought Funimation.
Not only that, Funimation closing down.
So Crunchyroll and Funimation are both owned by Sony.
Oh, so Sony's just eliminating Funimation.
Well, Sony is basically consolidating Funimation's catalog into Crunchyroll and eliminating Funimation as like a service because like why, like we don't need two anime streaming services. Like it's better. It's like if I was it's like if I was running a company, I would rather just have the one app and have all my anime like on the app.
Well, I'm sure you would have to do, if you have two separate apps, you probably have to do deals with the companies that own the properties twice. Instead of signing a contract to get stuff on both of them, you'd have to sign two separate contracts. Because it's not it's probably not Sony signing the contracts. It's Funimation and Crunchyroll, and it's not just them, because I believe they also own VR, like Verve or whatever it's called. So, like, if you own that, you're getting.
Oh yeah, and Verve is probably done.
Yeah,
You'll be happy to know though that I think because the Rurouni Kenshin movies were on Funimation, I think they're going to Netflix now because the first one's coming.
I've seen all of them, but the last one.
Okay.
The middle ones are not good.
Oh.
They're fine. They just they squish like the lore so much that it doesn't make any sense. Like there's no motivation to and especially of the villains and stuff. Like you're like, who the fuck are these people? Like you only spend any time with I can't even remember his name right now. The guy in the bandages, and he looks fucking horrendous. That first movie, because the first one they did the three middle ones, and then they did the prequel and then the finale afterwards. So there's also a way bigger budget in those other two. But yeah, I'm glad I was paying for Funimation and I'm not paying for it anymore because I had access to a Crunchyroll. So
yeah, there's a bunch of other discourse around it that I rather not
get into that.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is at this point, you know.
Buddy and I went in on Crunchyroll together, or not together. He got Crunchyroll and he's like, "Here's the info," and I'm like, "All right, cool." And I'm happy because now I get to watch the Shenmue anime, which I'm kind of interested in checking out, and the Blade Runner anime.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff.
A friend of mine texted me a couple days ago, and he was like, "Do you got the Crunchyroll app?" I'm like, not right now." And he's like, "Oh, like I really want to watch the Shenmue show," and I'm like, "Look," "Look at it this way: Shenmue is a bad game and probably a bad show. I'm helping you out." He's and he's like, "The reviews say otherwise, asshole." He's like, I love Shenmue. And I'm like, Shenmue, more like Shenpoo. Get it? I was like, get it because it stinks. And and like maybe it's just me as a Dreamcast fan who like is like looks at like we'll never get another Skies of Arcadia, but like motherfucking Shenmue gets like
Shenmue
2
3.
sequels and an anime. It's like
Honestly,
I'm like,
bring back Skies of Arcadia. You remastered it
Well,
for
you gotta hope
GameCube.
that like Nintendo decides to like stop sitting on the sidelines and buy them, like everyone's been yelling at them to do.
I absolutely do not want to. I like there like there's been a lot
Action
buying
in yeah.
a lot of companies have been bought and acquired over like the last couple of months.
What was
And
was the last one the Activision one?
No, the last big one was Sony Bungie, but then Nintendo came out and it's like, hey, we've acquired a partner that we've been working with since 1981, but now we just made it official.
yeah, but it's like people are like, oh, I can't wait to see like Capcom be bought or Sega be bought, and I'm like, I'm like dreading the day that Capcom is bought by some company or like Sega, because I think Sega is like actually like in a really cool spot right now. Like I think like they've really kind of turned that company around in the last like uh 5, 6 years. I think they have like a lot of cool franchises. Like Atlas is doing really well for them. Sega, like themselves, are releasing a lot of really cool games. Like I just do not want to see a
Helps
company
that the
like
movies
Sega
giving them
acquired.
the movies are giving them business too. The Sonic movies.
Yeah, like I mean, let's bring new eyes onto their product. Like the only company I want to see acquired, selfishly is Konami, because Konami's just like doing nothing with the franchises in general and just sits on them to make pachinko and gambling machines.
I had heard a rumor that like PlayStation had bought it, and I was really excited because they were like, "Oh yeah, we have some news in our PlayStation Direct from our Japanese publishers." I'm like, "Oh, maybe this is where we get the announcement," and then nothing came of it.
There is a rumor every 3 months about Sony and Konami of some kind, and it's like people who talk about the rumored Bloodborne PC release. It's like, yeah, sure, like everyone, it's a rumor that's brought up every 3 months, and everyone just assumes it's a rumor, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, Konami even doesn't even make the majority of their money through games. They make their money through medical supplies. It'd be nice if they
Which is
sold their game division at least.
which is because I can't remember when how did this get played, which changed his name just to get played. When they were doing one of Kojima's things, that's how he figured out like he took some of that medical technology to like put in a game where you had to take your Game Boy into sunlight to charge
Oh,
up the character's gun.
Boktai.
Yes.
Yeah, that game's cool. Like, what a neat idea. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a mechanic you couldn't do anywhere else other than like on a handheld like that.
Yeah. It's like a little solar strip that you would have on like one of those solar calculators. But like the game just can tell that you've been outside. And it's like, what a weird thing for somebody making a game to be like, I want you to leave your house. The opposite of most people designing a game.
Well, and it sucked because it was also like on a handheld that like had a terrible backlight on its on the console, so it was like really only playable on the
In light,
the
yeah.
on the SP, so which had backlighting on it. But and I dunk on Konami, but like at least they're doing like that. Did you guys see that announcement of that TMNT collection?
Oh my god, I can't
Oh
wait!
yeah, that looks
I'm just
amazing.
so
Yeah.
excited.
Did you see like all the games that are in it?
Yeah,
Like it's like all of them, right? Basically.
It's all the Konami games. So it's like TMNT Arcade 1, Turtles in Time Arcade, and then the NES TMNT, the TMNT 2, the arcade game for the NES, and the Manhattan Projects for the NES. The
all the Game
NES,
Boy games.
the NES, the Super Nintendo, and the Sega version of Tournament Fighter.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't even
TMNT.
know that there was a fighting turtle game until that.
Oh,
video.
Yeah, like people still like play that in tournaments sometimes because it's like a
All right.
really
Here,
fun
I have them
sci-fi.
all. I have them
I'm-
all right here in front of
I'm-
me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. Turtles in Time for the arcade, the SNES, and Hyperstone Heist. So it's like you get to see all three versions of like this really amazing game, and then all three games for the Game Boy: Fall of the Foot Clan, Back in the Sewers, and Radical Rescue.
And the best part, $39.99.
Yeah, $40. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if you
Amazing.
guys remember the TMNT Turtles in Time reshelled game that came out for the Summer Arcade for the 360 years ago.
No.
That was an Ubisoft game, and it
Oh.
was fucking awful. Like they basically like they redid the graphics. There was like this weird 3D looking game, and it was basically like a quote unquote remake of Turtles in Time, but like the music was different. Some of the bosses were different. And it was just like this weird amalgamation of the arcade and the Super Nintendo version that was just like not good. And so I'm just like so glad that like there's like now like a definitive edition for this game where you can play like the arcade, the SNES, and the Hyperstone Heist version, and all three of them have like very big plus sides to them, and all are like their kind of own unique gaming experience.
Isn't there that fan game coming out at some point? That's like the side scroller.
Yeah, so there's
It's a
the
Kickstarter, right? It was.
no, you're thinking of TMNT Strider's Revenge, which is being published by
Yeah, that's an actual game.
yeah, it's being published by the same publishers as the new
Dot
Streets of
Emu.
Rage. Yeah, like they did the Street Fighter or not Street Fighter.
Streets of Rage 4.
Yes, they published Streets of Rage 4. They're the publisher of Windjammers. They do like a lot of like kind of like older, like they're doing like the Metal Slug Tactics game.
They do a lot of ports for like the Final Fantasy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the developers Tribute who did Flint Hook and Mercenary Kings and and Panzer Paladin
And Scott Pilgrim.
I no. So Mercenary.
I'm looking at Tribute. Or for the Switch at least. For the Switch, it's Windows and Switch.
It's really funny. I'm looking at their Wikipedia and it says they worked on the Scott Pilgrim game, but they are not listed as a game that they developed distributed. So maybe they were Ubisoft Montreal or Ubisoft one like maybe they because I know like the Paul Robinson who did the art for Scott Pilgrim did the art for Mercenary Kings, which is a game that Tribute Games did make. Oh, so yeah, founded in 2011 by former Ubisoft employees. So I think people who worked on the Scott Pilgrim game left Ubisoft Montreal and formed Tribute. So yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
That's how I'm like getting this all confused.
Oh,
So,
also, did you know who's performing the theme song
for the TMNT game?
Yeah, for Shredder's Revenge.
It's fucking what's
Faith
his
No
name?
More.
Oh, really?
Lead singer of Faith No More.
It's like funny you say Faith No More because I was thinking of his other band that I really like, Mr. Bungle.
Oh yeah,
like,
no,
I was like, yeah, it's the lead singer of Mr. Bungle.
So yeah, he's going to be singing the theme song for the opening of Shredder's Revenge.
Mike Patton. Yeah, the game looks cool. Like they have April as a playable character, which is like
Splinter.
Like and I think that's always like a real big plus. And like they just also unveiled oh my god, I'm forgetting his name now. Splinter as a playable character, and it wouldn't surprise me if Casey Jones is like the last character they announced for that game.
Oh, they don't do Casey Jones. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, it's like you already have 4, 5, 6 characters playable in the game. It's like I assume you don't want to do like too many at one point, but yeah, Casey Jones seems like kind of like a slam dunk.
I would love if they find a way to do.
But then you have 7 characters, and that doesn't feel right. Like I feel like you need a good even number. So maybe they unveil like Casey Jones and Usagi Yojimbo.
I think they should also, if they can do it, I'm not sure if they can, they could do some kind of skin. Oh wait, no, it's 8-bit, so it wouldn't matter. I was gonna say it's some kind of skin or reference to the movies or anything else.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see like who are like the people you fight in that game, because I think it's like pretty obvious that it's like a
Go be
lot
the
of the
foot.
style, a lot of the style of the game is based around the cartoon, but it's like I'm wondering if you know, because I mean like yeah, you have the foot, but it's like if you're gonna have like Melhead or Leatherhead or the Rat King or Bebop and Rocksteady, but it's like if you're also gonna have Token or Azar, do you like incorporate like some of like the newer characters that they've kind of created for like the comics and stuff, or do they just
Like, would
like
Venus show up or Jenica?
yeah? Well, Venus is showing back up in the comics,
I
and she
know, I
looked
heard about
Yes,
that.
I just saw that.
yeah, and I really need to I feel like I say this on like every podcast, like when we talk about turtles, but like I really do need to read the current run of TMNT at some point.
I have
It
read
looks so good.
I've read a good chunk of it. It's awesome.
The only thing I've read is The Last Ronin, which I think has one more issue.
Oh, good, because I've been
One
waiting
or
for that to
two,
finish
that's
up.
it.
I've been
Yeah.
waiting for that one to finish.
And it's really, really good. Yeah, was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
The Batman.
Well, we gotta talk about that vaguely because Lou hasn't seen it yet. Because
Yeah.
baby,
Yeah, we'll talk about it, like I mean like I don't have like a whole lot to like kind of like say about
yeah,
it.
it's
But-
really good. The problems I noticed more the second time around. I think after 2 times I'd be good because if I go back a third, I'm worried I'm just gonna hate it.
I think there were like things about it, like even while watching it, I thought were like not like I mean it's not like watching Batman, Superman, or The Dark Knight Rises, where you just like are like annoyed throughout the entire thing. But I mean, for being a movie that's like almost 3 hours long, it only feels like it's long during like I feel like 1 or 2 points in that movie. But I
Well, they
think for the
also
most,
cram 2 plot lines into a movie, and you can definitely tell when they want to focus on the other, and then realize, oh wait, we got to do the other one too.
there's 3.
Well, and they're doing a spin-off TV show.
2 spin-off shows.
With the Penguin.
Yeah, there's a Penguin show. What's the other one?
Arkham.
Oh,
It was going to be the Gotham, like a Gotham City Police Department show following a crooked cop, but we've kind of done that already. We had 5 seasons of it, so
Yeah, and I mean like, and I'll be also completely honest, like that's kind of like not a show I'd be like all that interested in watching.
yeah. But this is like supposed to be like a more horror-ish show set at Arkham.
I mean that could be cool, I guess. It's like essentially they just do like Living Hell, which was like the story with the Great White Shark.
Yeah,
But yeah, like Pattinson's really good, no surprise. Zoe Kravitz is extremely good. Jeffrey Wright, I think, is like a really great Commissioner Gordon.
it's not a spoiler, but I love how like chill he is with Batman. Like he's just like, "Come on, man, let's go, man."
Yeah, it's like they show in the trailer of like Batman going around that one crime scene, and it's like Commissioner Gordon taking his tall goth son to work day.
Okay, both. There are a couple of times they do that, and every time, without
It's
spoiling,
strange.
the cop's reaction is so goddamn funny.
Yeah, but it's like if you like Jeffrey Wright's role in the Batman, like I highly do recommend people go check out Batman: The Audio Adventures, where
Oh, that's right. He plays.
Jeffrey Wright does play Batman in the Audio Adventures.
See, I'm annoyed because they only put the first 2 episodes out on podcast services, and
Yeah,
the rest
you gotta
is on
watch.
HBO Max.
Yeah, you gotta watch the rest through HBO Max, and it's like I don't want to listen to an audio drama through my fucking TV.
yeah, no,
like,
that's what podcasts are.
I want to like essentially it's just like I want to listen like the next time I drive to Seattle, like I want to just like save a bunch of episodes and listen to them as I drive to Seattle.
yeah.
Well, that's what I did like when with the Wolverine ones and the Guardian, the Star-Lord one.
Oh, I've been listening to the Black Widow one now because that's what they're
Yeah,
on.
I haven't done any of the new ones yet.
But yeah, like if Colin Farrell wants to do a Penguin show, like I think that'd be like extremely rad. Like
Well,
Colin
that's
Farrell.
confirmed.
Yeah,
That's
Colin
confirmed. He's
Farrell
coming back.
is Colin Farrell. It's like if you didn't know Colin Farrell was playing the Penguin, it'd be like watching Tropic Thunder and not knowing that was Tom Cruise. Like it's just like he could have just been like an actor,
It's
that
kind
you
of amazing how Colin Farrell just looked at The Sopranos and said, "I'm gonna do that."
I've never seen The Sopranos, so
Oh God,
it's not my kind of thing. Like
it's yeah, but it is. I get it. It is just a very well because we rewatched it before the Saints of Newark came out, which
I
that
still have to watch
movie.
that. Oh, that's upsetting.
It's a weird. It's because he didn't want to make a movie. They just paid
Right.
him lots and lots of money, and the thing he wanted to make a movie on is the part that's the most interesting, but really has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Because he wanted to make a movie about the Newark riots,
Right.
and that just happens to be a set piece in the movie and the most interesting part.
But
it's also just like the 20-year nostalgia cycle where it's like, what do we have in our back catalog that we can like bring out for nostalgia purposes? It's like, let's fix Dexter, you know?
No, like, oh my God, no. I just saw this news today. They're doing, remember Snow Day, like the Nickelodeon movie about the kids who fight the Snowplow Man?
Yes.
Yes.
They're doing a remake and it's a musical.
I watch a musical about the evil.
See, like, I don't mind remakes of kid shows and stuff like that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm at the point now where I'm like, really? Stuff from when I was like 7 is getting remade? God damn it.
There is How I Met Your Father is out, and my wife is watching it.
Oh, I saw an ad for I've never seen How I Met Your Mother, so I don't really
It's bad.
care. But I saw
it did
an
not
ad
age
for it.
well.
I saw an ad for it and it looks bad.
It's not good.
Also,
And like How I Met Your Mother, it just had it's like, oh, they accidentally got a really amazing cast of funny people who are like super talented that were like underrated at the time, and that's why that show works.
also, I just find it funny that Hilary Duff's on How I Met Your Father because
she's the lead.
No, well, hang on, because the Hilary Duff reboot didn't work out because Disney didn't want to make it adult, and now Disney Plus is putting Daredevil, Luke Cage, and all those shows, and they're making age restrictions. So,
well, I think like you're also going to start seeing like a ton of reboots and relaunches of old properties because it's like we have the Paramount Network and we have Peacock and we have like HBO Max and we have like all these like streaming services that need new content, and it's like
I am mad that Bel Air is on Peacock because I don't want to pay for Peacock.
Well, it's like everyone's going through the Rolodex of like
I get
old
I have
properties.
Peacock. I have to have Comcast, so I get Peacock for free.
I have Peacock because I also have it for free.
I don't have Comcast, so I don't get Peacock.
Oh, you know what we missed? Discovery didn't Discovery Warner? Yeah,
that's like old news, isn't it?
Well, no, they were like merged and let Discovery like control like Warner Pictures, like not Warner Pictures, like some of their aspects, and then Discovery has now just bought it outright. It was like a test run to see if they could control it.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see if then HBO Max becomes part of the Discovery Plus.
That would be insane.
Subscription?
No, if anything, they would put stuff on the HBO Max.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like if you got one, that you get the other. Like if you sub
there
to
would
one,
probably
you get the
be
other.
a bundle of some kind.
Because Discovery Plus is already. I think if you have Discovery Plus, you get access to like you can log in with that info and a bunch of other stuff from the same company.
Yeah, I think that's more of a. They're probably going to do that, but
it makes sense because Disney's already done it. You can get Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu for like one set price.
I'm looking through Peacock or in Paramount Plus to just see like what they have because
Paramount Plus has Halo this month.
Well, Peacock has like Psych, which I'm a huge fan of, and
Peacock has also Chucky, which I need to finally sit down and watch.
I heard that was good.
Yeah, I mean, like
I've also heard the Bel Air reboot is like pretty good.
It's wildly dark. I've heard.
It's like that's like
I have no interest.
Exactly. It's like
It feels like they're trying to get in a genre of TV that really pretty much film. Like one network has ever done anything with that genre.
It was a fan film, and then Will Smith saw it, loved it, and was like, "Hey, let's make a TV show out of it."
And I respect if you're going to like do reboot of an old property, I respect the idea of like doing something different with it, but like I don't know if I just needed a dark version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in my life.
Like the big thing is that Carlton's addicted to cocaine.
Yes.
Which makes sense, I guess, because he's a rich kid, and I just assume so. But like,
But he's
I
just
mean,
always
Carlton's
snorting
like,
that booger sugar.
but Carlton's like whole character is like he's the perfect son. You know,
Oh, they definitely play
Well,
with
no,
that.
well, it's
but
not that he's
instead
the
of
perfect
making,
son. He's also like he's the not black enough character is like what they
they
address constantly in that original
from
show.
from
yeah,
reactions I've seen, they definitely play into that, and they also play into the whole like I was the perfect son, I was the number one son, and then Will comes along and kind of upends that whole thing, but it's played for more darker effect rather than Carlton's a
him-
dum dum.
and him being addicted to cocaine is like a real rich white kid's drug.
Yeah.
Oh man, I completely forgot about this. I also saw Jackass Forever. The movie's great.
That movie's fantastic.
God, I loved it.
What a fucking movie! You know what? Someone give Danger Aaron an award or
I
something.
feel so
'Cause,
bad for him in that movie.
oh, there's one thing that I had to look away because I was just like, no, thank you. I don't
Was
like
it the
this.
pogo?
It
Stick?
was the pogo. Oh, it was the pogo.
But like the bit with the snake is like an all time great prank.
Oh, I think the bear's up there.
Sure, but like the bear is like a dangerous prank, right? Like
The
I love how great the snake prank is because it's like there's like no danger to it. And
is
that's why
that
it's so
the
funny.
mime one?
Oh, the mime one's great. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
so bad for Rachel because she's like barely in the movie, and I wanted her in it more.
sure. And I also like wasn't entirely sure on the new cast because it's like so much of like what sets Jackass I feel like apart from like people like it I don't of like an Impractical Jokers or
Mhm.
like the myriad of other like Jackass style ripoffs that came in like the 2000s is that like the cast of Jackass is so good and like so likable and like their relationships are like what kind of like really highlights like makes the movies better than what they really should be. So like
Right. My
trying to
favorites
add
were
so
go
I
ahead.
felt like trying to add like new character like a younger characters who are like the next generation I wasn't entirely like sure on, but like the girl's great, the guy from Squad and his dad are really good.
I like Poopies, the guy who got
The
bitten by a shark.
God, the first time I heard his name, I was like, "Oh God!" Like I thought he was going to be fucking awful, and he's really funny. Like, and I
He's
thought he was
really
great.
likable.
The really fat kid just feels like a fan who somehow knew a guy who knew a guy who found his way into the movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's fine, but it was just like he seems like he's like trying way too hard to be like one of the guys. Like to the point that he has like jackass tattoos over his body, and I'm like, guy, like I don't know about this, but
Yeah, he
yeah,
was okay.
it's good, and like and all the Jackass movies, they're a lot of fun while you're watching them, and then when you get to the end, it does not outstay its welcome, but you wanted more. So
And here's the thing. I think with this crew, this needs to be the last movie with the original crew. Not so much because they're all bad, but because I don't know how much more their bodies can take.
I mean, like I necessarily don't need to maybe see them in like stunts, but like I would
Be
like them
there as
to
like
still be
supporting.
around. Yeah, because I mean, like watching Jackass Forever was like seeing like friends you hadn't seen in a long time.
Oh
And
my
it's like,
god, it was
and
great.
it's like a real shame that like Bam Margera like could not get his shit together and has like
He's
kind of
in
lost
one
his
scene.
mind. He is in one scene, you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you know about like the stuff with Bam, right?
Yeah. Or do you talking about me or Lou?
I
Dude,
know a little bit, but not much.
Oh, it's
it's
bad.
like essentially like after the death of Ryan Dunn, he kind of lost his mind. He got like real addicted to alcohol and drugs and basically like everyone in the Jackass crew is like silver. Like Steve-O has been
Mhm.
silver for a very long time, and like written into the contracts for like a lot of them were like you when you're filming this film you have to stay silver.
Like they had a whole outline, and it's the same one they gave to Steve-O, and Steve-O followed it. But
Um, and Bam could not follow it, and then got into a big fucking fight with Jeff Tremaine and Johnny Knoxville, and was basically kicked off set.
he
Uh,
went on a tirade on Instagram.
and he
Oh
like
wow.
yeah, he went on a big tirade on Instagram. He threatened to kill Jeff Tremaine.
Jeff Tremaine had to get a restraining order, temporary, because
so
he was
it really sucks for Bam, but like it's nice to see that like after 20 some odd years, the people who are still around. They're all doing like pretty well.
I you know what? I tried really hard to see if Steve-O was going to come near me to play live, and he's not anytime soon, so I'm a little sad.
Yeah, I hear his podcast is good, but like I
listened to the one with Preston Lacey. That's fair, but it's such a fun, like it's a good escape. That's a movie I would say is like a fun escape.
Yeah, and like 80% of the stunts are really good.
Wait, the opening stunt is
with the Godzilla thing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like I also just like they're like the stunt where the one guy's dad, and I forget who the other person is, but they have like these basically globes like put on their heads, and then a spider is put in the middle.
Oh no, that's Jasper's dad.
Yeah. And so Lou, like think of like I'm wearing like a dome helmet and someone else is wearing a dome helmet, and there's like this air connected tube between us, and we're both sitting in a chair, and they put a spider in the middle of it, and so basically it's like the game of like where does the spider go into one of the guy's heads, and he ends up going into the dad's head like helmet, and he's like duct taped to the chair, right? He is so afraid of the spider.
Wasn't he in prison?
He breaks the chair, the duct tape that's attached to the chair. He breaks it off and he grabs Knoxville and he basically death grips him.
Wasn't that guy in like prison or something? Like that was a big thing. I remember they were saying like, oh yeah, he was in prison for like a while.
Maybe
I'm wrong, but
like his dad was super funny. Like they had the whole bit with him in the Vulture. Yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's like
not sure if I'm right.
It's a real good feel good movie, and you good time while watching. And also, I guess all the films and the TV show are up on Paramount Plus.
The TV show is, and I'm very excited. I've never actually seen the actual show.
Oh, the actual Jackass show? It was, because you're a little bit younger than me and John, but like it was a phenomenon. Like all that stuff.
Oh,
like
I remember.
CKY.
I remember when the movie came out, and my mom's like, "Yeah, you can't go see that." I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, I think I was like a senior in high school when the movie came out.
Yeah, it looks like the TV show has just like random episodes, so I'm not entirely sure why. Like it's like episode 2, episode 4, episode 5, episode 7. So I assume like some of it is.
It's MTV, right? So is it on Paramount? Is that what you're looking?
It's on Paramount. Yes.
I'm wondering if it has episodes missing because they had to edit out episodes that had Bam's uncle.
I don't know if it's that. Oh.
No, I would say so because it's like look at here, season 2, episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then episode 11, 12, 13. So like there's just like 4 episodes missing. So it could honestly just be like music that they didn't have cleared, or someone on the show like is not essentially I could probably like just look around on like why there's like missing Jackass episodes.
Probably like a rights thing with music or something.
It's got to be a rights thing, or like maybe there was something going on the show that was not in current days, is not something like language or something happened in the show.
Possible.
I am falling asleep, which is why I've been very quiet.
No, that's fine.
So,
we ready to end it?
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or?
No, it's just nice to get all this out after a good while.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to plug?
You can follow me at Twitter at John JOHN_FN_Seiler SCILER, where I promote stuff I'm working for work, or posting photos of me going to wrestling shows, or whatever.
You can find me on Twitter, JamesScott193. Go check out all the fun stuff over at gatecrashers.fan. Let us help you find the next thing that you're interested in, find the world that you'll fall in love with. So go check us out, gatecrashers.fan. We are on all the social medias, and Twitch we are at the Gatecrashers, because I guess someone took our name for whatever reason.
All right, and don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Phantom Zone, and have a good night. We'll catch you next time. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
So I guess I'll join the Great Lakes Avengers. They offered me a membership, and so I did, except no, they're a walking disaster. I find it hard to go to something that cannot be sold, cause they're the worst shoes of all time. It's remarkable they ever stop a crime. Sitting full time with free beer and life, so I guess I'll stick around. So I guess I'll stick around.